Hey there, and welcome back to the Napkin Notes podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Evans. How we doing? You guys, I have a really special episode for you today. If you are a lover of country music and specifically the fashion in the country music industry, you're going to love today's conversation. I got the chance to sit down in Nashville, Tennessee on Music Row with celebrity wardrobe stylist Cherie Kilchrist. Cherie has styled some of probably your favorite country music artists, from Lainey Wilson, Bailey Zimmerman, Jason and his wife, Jason Aldean. She's been kind of known for styling couples, which is really cool. But she has worked with all of these artists, from award shows like the CMAs to magazine cover shoots as well. She kind of spans it all. Cherie and I have a mutual friend, and then our paths crossed on location. That makes it sound so official. On a shoot for one of my clients, Mallory Irvin. Her episode was released last week. Mallory was shooting her cover art for her podcast. So I was with her that day. Cherie was styling. And so that was when we first got to meet. But being able to sit down with Cherie for this episode felt like such a treat because, one, how does one become a stylist? Two, what does a wardrobe stylist even do? And then three, unfolding the journey of how she got to where she is in the industry is really remarkable and really interesting. So of course we're talking about fashion. Of course we're both talking about our love of cheetah print, which for me started with my mom. That was handed down to me. But we really talk about kind of the depths also of entrepreneurship and how sometimes it can feel lonely and isolating, especially when you have a vision that maybe other people aren't quite understanding. We talk about how you're not crazy. Sometimes you're just first. We also talk about how to keep your confidence up as an entrepreneur when you are kind of creating your own lane. And then we also, and you'll hear this moment in the episode too, what that looked like for Cherie, but we talk about how sometimes one small or big decision totally changes the trajectory of not only your career, but also kind of your life. And so you'll hear Cherie and me really get into that in the episode. And so there's some really interesting, deep, insightful moments in this conversation. And then, of course, we're also talking about our love of fashion and where hers really came from, which was an interesting I didn't expect her answer, and I think that you might be surprised to hear it too. So, you guys, this is a really phenomenal episode. Cherie is this really unique and vibrant mix of being soft and tenderhearted, but also such a trailblazer in the industry. And so I just know you're going to fall in love with her just as much as I did. But okay, without any further ado, let me give you my conversation with celebrity wardrobe stylist Cherie Kilchrist. Wardrobe stylist to the stars, Cherie, welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad that you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
We met actually not too long ago. I knew about you before we had met. So we have a mutual friend in our friend Bailey.
Yep.
And she always said, you're going to love Cherie's style. But you were on Mallory Irvin's photo shoot back in February, and that was when our paths actually crossed in person.
Yes.
So that was a long day. It was a lot of photo shoots and things going on,
Yep.
but I got to see you in action that day, pulling the different outfits. You were, I think you're even like pinning the back of her shirt a ton, like during the photo shoot. So it was actually cool to see what a stylist does, like out in the field, out in the wild.
Yes.
I should say.
Yes.
We both have our cheetah print on today.
I know. I love that.
I saw that you posted a couple weeks ago that you love cheetah print.
Yeah.
I rolled the dice and thought we should match.
I love that you did. I've always loved cheetah print. So it's a thing that it's like the hottest print right now, but it's always been the hottest print to me.
You and my mom have that in common. She has this long floor length coat that is like not a fur, but like, not like a velvet, a soft cheetah print thing that she has had forever. And I hope you never get rid of. I hope that gets passed down to me at some point in time.
No, or send it to me. I'll leave you my address.
Yes. Cherie would wear the heck out of that. But I know that it is like the seasonal print right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of classic and timeless.
Always, I think it's a neutral.
It is a neutral.
It goes with everything. It goes with every color.
Yeah.
Every, style of jewelry. I love it.
Yeah. How did you get into styling in the first place? Was there somebody in your life growing up that kind of crafted this love and passion for fashion?
Honestly, I do get asked this question a lot. And I always try to think back on like something so significant. Mm-hmm. And I always think back to my mom But there was a few things like I appreciate it now, but my mom was always a little out there.
Okay.
And growing up in Louisiana, a lot of people were a little more, I think I always wanted her to be a little more like my friends' parents that were like a little more preppy and put together and classy. But she was classy, but she always wore completely different from that.
Okay.
And I
Interesting.
think I never realized like that's where I got it from. Like I like to stand out. She always liked to stand out. So she always had big earrings on. She always had a ring on every finger. And so now I'm like, wait, that's where it all came from. But I never thought that. And I just always loved fashion. I just didn't really know anything else.
This is making me emotional already. We're like 3 minutes into the conversation. My grandmother, who was a big inspiration behind this podcast, she always said, never blend. That was always her thing. And so I love that your mom kind of exemplified that too.
Yeah. And I just didn't pick up on it. I think I was always rebellion against it because I wanted her to blend in with the other mothers.
Yeah.
And now I see that I'm going that route, and my daughter might think the same thing about me because I see how I look at school drop off compared to others.
Oh, how old is your daughter now?
She's 5.
Okay. Does she have any love for fashion things yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
And it's hard.
Okay.
It is very hard in my household because I have a whole rack of clothes of fits put together for her that I think she's going to wear, and she will not wear them. And my husband will have to come and like intercept between us because I'm arguing with a 5-year-old, and he's like, Rome, your mom does this for a living. Just listen to her. And she's like, I'm not wearing that. And she just wants to wear pajamas and Crocs.
I will say there is hope for her yet.
I'm hoping.
There are many pictures from when I was younger, because I used to hate fashion. Like if it had a collar or a button or if it was itchy, it was not happening.
Okay. See, she's kind of at that spot. Certain things bother her.
Only like big t-shirts up until I was like 3. And then I got into soccer when I was really young. So it was just like soccer shirts and shorts all of the time. And then my mom, which, she does a lot of the B-roll for the show, but she has such a love for fashion that I'm sure that was hard for her growing up, because my sister cared a little bit more than I did. But it probably wasn't until college, maybe, I started caring a little bit more. And then I feel like it was more so moving to Nashville was when I started to feel my own kind of style.
Yeah.
Because I would say that my mom and my sister are much more classic. My mom has a flair for the dramatic. My sister is very classic and traditional. And I'm just kind of somewhere in between. There's usually like a little kind of funk or something different about an outfit that I like to put on. But it took me a really long time to figure that out. So
okay, so there's still hope.
There's hope for your daughter yet.
Okay.
What's her name?
So Rome.
Rome. Oh, that's so sweet.
Rome Monroe.
Oh, I love that.
I feel like it could be a clothing line.
Is this a dream of yours, Cherie?
I mean, it has to be like another 5-year plan.
Can I be your first customer?
Yes. Okay. Yes, please.
If there is cheetah print, just like take my credit card.
There will always be cheetah print. It will never go out.
Oh, if you were to create your own fashion line, what are some staples that are very Cherie coded that would absolutely be involved?
I feel like obviously the prints. I'm not sure yet. I really haven't honed down on exactly what that is. I feel like I don't know. I don't need more experience in life, but I need more inspiration.
Okay.
To figure out what that is going to be. That's why I probably haven't done it yet.
Sure.
But I feel like having a daughter has actually inspired me more. And I don't know if that's a kid's line.
Yeah.
Or, something on that realm.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
But I'm starting to get more and more inspired and thinking about that more. Like my family, my great grandmother, who passed away when I was really little, but she made everyone's clothes. She did it all. And my grandmother did too. And then it kind of dropped off on my mom.
Okay.
And so I know it's in me somewhere.
Yeah.
My
great grandmother, we might want to cut this out, but it is a funny story. Her name was Isabel, but she could bake like nobody's business. She had these amazing recipes, but she was not a very nice lady. So we would call her Misabel because she was so miserable. And then it was Nanny was her daughter, and then Nanny had such an amazing fashion sense, and then my mom, and then that was kind of passed down. But it is funny how it kind of goes through the different lineage throughout the generations. In what ways has your daughter inspired you? Is it the prints? Is it the mix and matching? Or is it actually like kids' clothing line?
Maybe just kids' clothing.
Yeah.
I don't really find anything out there that I truly like for her.
Okay.
And so I think that's what I get inspired. I feel like I have to dig more.
Sure.
I love, it's fast fashion, but I love Zara. They do such a great job for kids. But other than that, it's really hard. And the price points, like it's either really high and I don't know. It's not that fun for me when it comes to kids' clothes.
And something that I have found as a pattern with all of the guests this season is, because it's been all female brands or business owners, is they had a passion, they found a gap in the market, and that's really where their business started. Right. So this feels like the right next thing for you. You've got your passion, you found the gap in the market. Yeah. I'm going to come over with a full bottle of this white wine, and we're just going to get all of your dreams and ideas out. We're going to whiteboard
That's what I need.
it out. Yes. I will say, because I produce podcasts for a living, but really the first step of what I do is just to get all of the ideas out, map it out, find the through line, then we have your show. So we'll do the same thing with you.
Oh my gosh, I need someone like you.
Gal, I gotcha. I'll take all of it, because if I'm assuming right, you might be very creative, so your brain kind of works
all the time.
For people that are not watching, crazy. I'm moving my hand back and forth. Yeah, I put structure to the kind of spaghetti thoughts.
So you have been my missing link my whole life.
So also you heard it here first. Cherie's coming out with a clothing line in 5 years.
Please. I know it's out there.
Yes. So if you're putting an outfit together for yourself each day, what are some things that you like to put together for your own style?
Honestly, this is so true, but I don't know what I'm going to wear or who I'm going to wake up as.
Oh, I love this.
Change. I don't stick to a style. I don't stick to a certain trend. I honestly, what am I feeling that day? Who do I feel like I want to be that day?
And then you represent yourself in your outfit.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you today?
I'm a lot of people today. For anyone who can't see, it's leopard overalls, it's Timberland boots. I am in hopes of the fall coming soon.
Yes, girl.
I like, they say it's dressing more in the men's department is what I look like, but accessorized. I don't know. I just feel like I want it, like I'm making a statement. Like my clothes I'm a billboard for just fun and expressing myself.
Yes.
So
tell me about what you do as a wardrobe stylist. Like very much, because I've seen you work behind the scenes, but it really clicked for me to be like, oh, this is what Cherie does on a shoot or at a music video. But can you kind of lay out, as a wardrobe stylist, what do you do for a lot of your clients?
So it depends, but let's say a country music artist. And typically, they hire a stylist, so, they do what they do creatively and they're not worried about the wardrobe. So, let's say a photo shoot is coming up or a music video, and we just, I get creative on that. Like I'll get creative from the label or managers. And it's like, let's say we're doing a music video for a single that's coming out. And there's a storyline. So I help create that story through clothes. And then
story through clothes. Yeah. Okay, I love this.
Some in color palettes to mesh, I'll talk to the director and ask them, what's the color palette and the vibe of this video? So, we can blend in but stand out. And it just all creates a story. With that being said, you can find the clothes, but then it's tailoring it properly, making sure it fits well. It's always about a good fit.
Okay.
It's not, we don't just go buy something and off the rack. There's levels of why you get a stylist to cater to you with all these things that come with getting the perfect outfit.
Yeah. Now, are you sourcing these outfits for them, or are they coming to you saying, this is kind of what I'm thinking, this are the clothes that I have, I want to wear this, or are you pulling the clothes for them?
All of the above.
Okay.
So some artists don't want to think about it because they have other things to do. And there might be like management or others that will give me like a mood board or kind of some creative, and they're like, do your thing, because that's why we hired you.
Yeah.
Bring to us what you think I should wear. And that's basically, kind of what I do. Some are very creative and want to collaborate with you.
That makes sense.
And I can create outfits from what you already own. So a lot of people don't know that, they have a new wardrobe and what they already have in their closet, mixing and matching. Like, some would never think, let's put this denim shirt with this, leopard skirt, and, just kind of mixing and matching, not being scared to do so in different colors and, layers and stuff like that.
Before I even knew your name, but before Bailey ever mentioned you, there was, I can't remember what award ceremony it was, but I know that you'll know it. It was when Lainey Wilson wore that one-piece strapless heart-shaped top jumpsuit with the flare bottoms.
Yes, that was my second time working with her. That Carolina Herrera jumpsuit.
I will never forget the moment I saw her walk out in that. I was like, whoever is her stylist knows exactly what she's doing. That is just such an iconic moment for me. What award ceremony was that again?
That was CMAs last year.
CMAs last year.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that look that you were able to create for Lainey that year.
Like I said, it was my second time working
so
for her.
Still
and
new.
It was a lot of pressure. It was very new, and she was a dream client for me.
Because you guys both grew up in Louisiana, right?
Both grew up in Louisiana. I had been working with a lot of men, which I love working with men, but I hadn't had that, like, I have really great girls that I work with.
Yes.
But that cowgirl, that is a true, authentic country music cowgirl.
Yes.
Who is just beautiful and so talented. I mean, she's the whole package. And coming from Louisiana, it was just a full circle moment of me coming from Louisiana, doing my dream job, her coming from Louisiana. A lot of people don't get out of your small town.
Yes.
And we're now together creating magic. It was so magical for me. And I just wanted I wanted to bring that, elevate her and be that high fashion. And I wanted to strip her down and everyone to see who she truly was and not have to, do all the things, but just be like a classy cowgirl.
A classy cowgirl.
And I saw that jumpsuit and I was like, because you have to stay true to Lainey. She's always going to be in pants and like bell bottoms. And that was just such a fashion. I mean, Carolina Herrera, like you wouldn't think
cowgirl.
No, you would not think cowgirl. So I saw that and was like, that's it. That's what she's wearing.
Wow.
And that's exactly what I said. And I know we had to have a fitting. It was CMAs. It's big. I had to have all these options. But I was like, that's what she's wearing.
Right.
I know she's going to wear that.
And did she just latch onto it right away? Okay.
First thing we put on.
And then did she still wear a cowgirl hat that night? Okay.
Black, simple, sleek, simple hat band.
Just so good. She had a shoot recently on the Cowboys and Indians magazine shoot.
Yes.
Were you a part of that?
Yes.
Okay, you were.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure I helped set that up because the owners of the magazine and I, just by being in Austin, like we kind of paths crossed. And they're like, do you have any ties to Lainey Wilson? And I was like, actually, yes. But she looked beautiful on the front of that magazine.
Thank you.
What was she wearing on that shoot?
Oh, that was an H-Bar-C shirt. I think it was I want to say a Zimmerman belt, actually.
Okay.
And Wrangler jeans. She only wears Wrangler denim.
Okay.
I usually get really creative with that.
Very affordable.
Yep.
We love a Wrangler jean moment.
And usually I think with that jean, I opened up the side and added a little bit more fabric from the same pair of jean, another pair of the same jean.
Cool.
I do that a lot just to kind of make it more of a bell when they don't, come like that. So we do a lot of, customization to that, but
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. So how did you get into styling? Was this always a dream of yours growing up, or
I didn't know what a stylist was growing up at all. I just knew I was interested in clothes.
Yes.
I thought, I'll work at a store.
Sure.
I'll own my own store or something. I mean, that's always what I thought. There wasn't anything else I was really ever interested in. I wasn't, I think there was like one time when I was younger that I like thought about a social worker. Sure. I wanted to help others, something like that. But it was always
Always
something to do with clothes. And I really just thought I was going to own a store or be a buyer. I wanted to just like pick out all the clothes that go into the store. So I ended up going to a fashion school in Dallas.
Okay.
I looked at like FITM and, in New York and FITM in LA. And then I looked at schools in New York, but I wasn't ready, I think, to go away from home. I didn't really.
Louisiana to New York is a big leap.
Yeah. But I knew I wanted to go to a big city. So I started Dallas, found this fashion school. I went there. And then my best friend, who we've been friends since first grade, she's also a stylist. She went, so after that school, I thought, I'm going to go to New York. I'm just going to do it. You have to go to a big city to work in fashion. That's just what I saw on TV.
Right.
And so I left Dallas, was going to go to New York. My best friend was doing an internship in LA. And she was like, before you make your jump, you have to come to LA. You have to come see this. I get to LA and I was like, oh my God, I'm moving here.
This is my dream place.
And I did.
Okay.
So
after high school, you went to the Dallas fashion school and then moved to LA when you were done there. And then how long were you in LA for?
So I was in LA for a little over 10 years.
Oh, you were there a long time, Cherie.
Yep.
Okay.
And I went there and I still didn't know what a stylist was.
Okay.
To be honest with you. I mean, the fashion school that I went to in Dallas I worked in, like, it was on top of the apparel mart. And so I worked a lot of markets.
Okay.
And
what mart was that?
It was the Dallas Apparel Mart.
Apparel Mart. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
So it's basically like, where stores go to like buy, go to market and they meet with different brands and lines and go through all that and write their orders for their stores.
Okay.
So I got to experience that. So still I was on the same path of I'm going to have a store one day. That's still all I knew that you could do in fashion. I truly didn't know what a stylist was.
Wow.
And then I went to LA and Lindsay and I got hooked up with, there's this actress, Sharon Stone, which some people don't know who that is, but
who are you if you don't know who that is?
I think I'm just getting older because a lot of my interns come in and they do not know who that is. And I just don't understand.
Tough. That's tough. Educate them, Cherie.
I do.
Let them know.
I do. So we luckily got a job with her sister, Sharon's sister, who had a fashion company and repped a couple lines.
Cool.
And then got introduced to Sharon and got into this whole world. And just from there, I just kept doing different jobs in the industry and assisting, and then meeting Sharon and then seeing that world and then seeing, someone like there's a stylist. So I got introduced to Hollywood.
What the industry was.
Very long story short.
Yeah.
Very long story. I got introduced and I never looked back. I was like, this is what I have to do.
I think that's so interesting because another common theme that I'm finding from these conversations is women have their passion, but it shows up differently in different seasons because sometimes you are introduced to the medium or the outlet that your passion is really going to encompass. Yep. And sometimes that changes later on.
Yep.
Mary Hollis was on and she's kind of a good example of she has a heart for entertaining and tablescapes. And so she initially was going to do that through writing a book about her event planning business when she was doing weddings. But then she started getting deals with Dillard's for some of their different lines that would go on a tablescape. And so now she's writing another book, but she has all these different ways that hosting and entertaining show up in her life. And I think when we are exposed to other ways that our passions can really kind of manifest, it helps us think out of the box more than maybe we initially or originally even realized that we could.
Yes.
Which sounds very similar to you once you were kind of exposed to what the industry looked like.
Yes.
It didn't have to just be a store. It might be later on, or it might be a clothing line, but that wasn't your first step. And so I think that's really interesting that you were exposed to that and then latched on to that. You knew your passion, you just didn't know the outlet yet.
Yes. I always tell girls that will come and intern, I say, styling, it might not be it. You might be on set and you might see the set designer's job and you didn't know, that's interesting. You put yourself in these situations and, opens your eyes to all these different things. Like as a creative, I mean, I'm like, oh, set design would have been cool too,
Yes.
So it's really cool.
And you kept taking the right next step for you. You went to school in Dallas for fashion, and then you ended up being brave and going to LA. I do think a lot of times proximity breeds where you're going to plant the seeds for your dream.
Absolutely.
For me, I don't think I would have been able to start my business in any other city other than Nashville initially, because I was just in close proximity to my dream clients. So I do tell people, if there is something that you want to go after, the first thing to kind of evaluate is, can you be in close proximity to people that are doing what you want to do, or the people that you want to work around?
Absolutely.
And I know that that's not a luxury that everybody has, but that to me is always kind of the first line of defense to evaluate is, where can I be in close proximity that other people are doing this or could help foster this dream of mine? And that's what it sounds like LA was for you.
It was. And let me tell you, I did not have the means. I mean, I ended up, my parents helped as much as they could, but I ate ramen. I did anything I had to do.
Yeah.
Lindsay and I, we would go to the thrift stores on Melrose and buy a dollar dress on the Sunday dollar sale.
Wow.
And we would cut it up and accessorize it. And we would just do what we had to do to try to stay current and cool in LA. So I was not doing it with the means. Like I was just, I don't know.
So you and Lindsay were living together, just figuring it out.
Yep. She actually went back to Louisiana, finished school.
Okay.
And I went out there, and then she came back and met me, and then we lived together. And she just moved to Nashville about a year ago.
Oh my gosh. You and Lindsay are still friends.
We are still friends, and we share an office now here in Nashville, and both wardrobe stylists, no competition, best friends. And now I can have someone to share this job with, and there's no competition. There's no stealing clients. We can just have each other's back, because sometimes it's just us running a business by ourselves.
It can be really isolating creating your own lane.
Yeah.
It's fun and it's rewarding, but you're by yourself a lot of the time.
You question yourselves, and you're like, sometimes am I crazy? Am I doing this right? Or,
I always try to remind myself, I'm not crazy. I'm just first sometimes.
I like that.
Yeah. You're not crazy. You're just first. My poor mother probably thinks I'm a little crazy though, because I feel like she's always my sounding board of like my first idea. I'll call her and be like, hey, this just popped in my head. She's like, I don't even really know what a podcast is, but that sounds good.
I think crazy is a great word.
Yeah.
I think it can be. In our industry,
crazies are the ones that make things happen.
Yes. I think creatives are crazy in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I love that you had this passion. I love that you had Lindsay along for the ride.
Yes.
And so did you become what you would say like as a titled entrepreneur stylist in LA? Is that when you first started taking on your own clients?
So actually another story, there's more to it.
Oh, great.
When I was leaving LA, I was just coming with a friend for a year.
Okay.
We were, young, single, and still not that smart, and thought, let's go to Nashville for fun for a year. And she convinced me to do so.
Okay.
After I was assisting a lot of big Hollywood stylists. So I was really getting my foot in the door and in that environment with them. Like it was hard to even, girls are just knocking down the door to like work for free with these stylists and stuff. And I had, really, gotten in with them. So I still to this day, I'm like, it was a blessing, but I can't believe I just left all that like on the path that I was going and just, young
How
and
did
dumb.
you have the courage to do that?
I don't know. I just
a gut feeling?
I always had the courage to just do what I wanted to do in that moment and go after it.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
And then, so I knew a stylist here in town. That was the only person I knew. And he, very great stylist, awesome person. He's actually the godfather to my kid now. He was on the road with everyone, Rascal Flatts for 13 years. I mean, he was like the OG.
Because Rascal Flatts were everything through high school and college.
Yes.
Me. Yeah.
He was like the OG stylist. And I'd actually known him through Sharon Stone and Kelly Stone from LA. That's a whole nother story. So I called him up. We're coming to Nashville. He drove us around. Long story short, I came, never left. And he was like, hey, you have this experience from LA that a lot of people don't have here right now. Why don't you come and work with me and you can start doing the wives?
Okay.
And he had Jason Aldean.
Okay.
Bunch of other artists. And I started working with Brittany, Jason Aldean's wife. Mm-hmm. and we hit it off. We actually met in LA. And
And what year was this? Do you remember?
gosh, I probably met her in like 2014 or 15 and then came here 2016.
Okay.
And so that's how it all started. And then I started working with him, doing the wives, doing more of the girls. And then he molded me and started teaching me about country music and, you know, cowboy hats. And even though I'd come from Louisiana, so I wasn't like oblivious. I wasn't like a California girl coming, you know, I grew up around that, but I was coming from working with actresses, and now I'm coming in country music. Now I need to know about a round toe boot, a square toe. I need to make sure, you know, a cowboy hat's flipped on its crown, like, you know, all these little things I'm learning. And then he ended up retiring, and I just flew on my own. And
that's awesome.
Jason stayed working with me.
Okay.
And just kept getting other clients.
So you were in LA for a little bit of time, came to Nashville on a whim, called up this mutual friend with Sharon Stone. Yep. He kind of took you under his wing.
Yep,
so did you go back to LA for a couple years after you first experienced Nashville, or did you just stay?
I stayed.
Wow.
Yep.
It is that's wild that you were on such a high trajectory in LA, but still had the guts to move here.
I still can't believe I did it.
I kind of think the same thing about some of the stuff that I've done I
don't know what I was thinking.
The guts that you have in your 20s.
Yeah.
That allows you to do it. But I do think there is a sense of knowing yourself and knowing what's right for you in that season. Because I mean, you're obviously killing it working with the top country music artists here. You know, life could have looked so differently if you had stayed.
I'm so happy I came here.
I bet you're so happy. Like, it suits you so well.
Happy. Thank you. Happy.
Does that give you more confidence in your decision making now, being able to kind of retroactively look back at that move from LA to Nashville?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brittany was your first client here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was the only one I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so 2016 was when you moved here officially and stayed. And you mentioned that you do Jason and some men's clothing. I can barely do women's clothing at this point in time. Men just seem like a whole other thing.
Yeah.
What is it like working between men and women when you're styling them?
I think men, you don't really, especially with male country artists, it's not like you're changing them. You know, I'm not changing Jason Aldean. Like, he has a specific look, but I am catering to him to make his life easier. And I am bringing new things, or I am bringing, you know, good fits and just putting it all together color palette wise, you know.
Yeah.
Women, it's a little more adventurous.
Yeah.
You know, and it is more following the trends, staying current, accessorizing. And then also it's, you know, I am known to do a lot of, you know, couples. So
I don't think I knew that.
I mean, I think I just, you know, yeah. And I love doing couples or groups because I love for them to, I'm a sucker for like them to complement each other.
Yes.
You know, if the color palettes, everything. I mean, I even go to the extreme of I try to find out what the backdrop colors are going to be on a red carpet. So I make sure
detail oriented
that they,
that's amazing.
You know, I don't want it to be a hosh posh.
Yeah. Because I could see that the backdrop would take away from your beautiful outfit that you've put together. Yeah. If you're putting them in, I don't know, if like the carpet is red and the backdrop is red and you're wearing something that just wouldn't look good with that. Yeah. It's not going to show off the full thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So after you moved here, did you move on your own or did Lindsay come with you?
Here? No, this was another friend that I moved here with.
Okay.
But she left. She's not even here anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you were like, I think I've made it. Like, I think I've done this.
I don't think I ever think that. Yeah. I will say yes, in a way. Yes, actually.
Okay.
I changed my answer because lately I have been way more humble in thinking you can get really wrapped up into thinking you didn't do enough, especially with social media. Like, we're always going to do that in every job.
Totally.
Or in just life in general.
Yeah.
But I always started to think back and like, I am paying my bills with a job that a lot of people are just like, it's a passion.
Totally.
And it's hard to do, to actually like pay your bills and have a livelihood in this type of job.
Yeah. And you've done it.
And to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And to, you know, have people on this level hire and trust you. I think that is such a big accomplishment.
You know what? Cheers to that, Cherie.
Thank you.
Yes. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Because I do think it is one of those things that you have truly created on your own. It is something that you didn't even know was an industry or a lane of yours until, a handful of decades of years ago. And then you found your passion, you stuck to it. And then it sounds like you've continued to grow and expand. So right now, what does life look like? Do you have employees? It sounds like you have some interns.
I have one girl, my assistant, who I now am like, sometimes it's hard for me to say assistant because I feel like she's my colleague. She's my right hand. Logan has been with me for 5 years now.
Wow.
And she is awesome. She's thrives at like the business brain more than I do because as a creative,
to find
I
someone
am
that compliment
all over the place. So she's very organized and reels it in, and she's great. But it's just her and I.
Okay.
And we'll have interns and stuff like that. And I do need extra help, but it's just me and her for the most part.
Hiring is hard because it's just a whole other business side of the brain that's not like the creative skill set part. Finding the right team around you is so difficult.
It's really hard.
Yeah, because then it's just a whole other part.
There's so many things.
Especially with a little bit of the exclusivity of your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to make sure
it's
that
a personality thing that you have to mesh with. And it's all these things that a lot of people, I was trained in LA, like working around celebrities. So I hardcore on like how you act on set and stuff like that. And I feel like it's getting better here, but a lot of girls don't get that experience and that etiquette.
Yes.
So
there is kind of an element, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is kind of like the first time you walk into a room and there is like a larger, influential, visible person that you're working with. There is an element of like, you kind of act like you've been here before.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you got to walk in confident. And,
absolutely.
Don't ask for the selfies and things like that. But there was an element too, when I first started out, when I had like one of my first like large exposure clients, I found myself just deferring to them to be like, oh, they'll know what's best for their podcast or for their brand. And I was like, just because they have high visibility doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm doing when I come onto like a studio or a podcast recording. And that was something I really had to take up my own agency on, my literal agency, but also just like my personal agency of, even though I'm walking into a room with some highly visible people, I'm still the expert in the podcast realm and people telling stories, and they are deferring to me to help them navigate this well.
Well said. I have to tend to do the same thing.
Yes.
Or tell myself that.
Yeah.
I'm here for a reason.
Yes. And to not defer away your expertise to other people in the room.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you've continued to cultivate your confidence and who you are as a woman, as a business owner, as a mom?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like I feel like I'm starting to get way more mature and confident. Mm-hmm. Because this job can make you feel a little less confident and always questioning yourself. And I just have to, kind of what you just said, I just keep having to tell myself, I'm here for a reason. This person, and I have longevity with my clients.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helps.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously I'm doing something right, because I try to keep longevity, like a relationship. Yeah. Like it's not just like a job. I want that relationship and people to trust me.
I totally agree with that, because I think there have been times too where I'm hustling, like I'm working 12, 14, 16-hour days, and I try to find more. There is a lot of, I would say, schedule flexibility in owning your business, but there's not always that time freedom that I think is where a lot of people are like, oh, I'll start my own business so I can do whatever I want. But you have to so much earn that and get to a point where you do have more time freedom and that schedule flexibility. But there's definitely been times in my business where I was like, the more I work, the more my identity will be proven that like I'm good at my job.
Right.
And so a lot of times I'm having to just really work on my mindset of, there have been definitely times when I was living in Nashville where my confidence would kind of just plummet, because I'm questioning, am I good at this? Can I keep doing this? Because again, like if you are working in isolation, you can doubt yourself because there's nobody else to kind of pull you out of your own brain at the end of the day.
I still do that all the time.
That makes me feel so much better.
Thank God I have Lindsay here, my friend, because we have, she has to talk me off of that ledge sometimes where you question yourself because it's just you. You know, my husband can only understand what I do so much. You know, he's always like, can you just call a friend? I don't know. Why are you stressing about this?
I had my friend Olivia on, and she is a recipe and content creator. And so she develops these amazing recipes. She just hit 1 million followers at the top of the year. And her husband is kind of the CFO of her brand. And she just recently hired on a full-time assistant. And I think a lot of it was for that same reason, because he was like, I know what you're going through, but like, emotionally, I'm still a dude. I don't know whether to help you in this situation.
Yeah. And I think as women, we get really emotionally attached to our passions too.
Yes.
So there's a fine line there.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this makes me feel so understood, because at the end of the day, like, you are so proud of what you've done, but it takes a lot of doubt and questioning before you get there to feel really confident in your skill set and in your craft.
Absolutely.
My mom and I were talking a little bit before you came in of just like some fashion questions that we had. But one of the ones that, we were kind of just like bouncing back and forth too was like, if there is a fashion trend that comes up, whether it's cheetah print or something else, but it's not going to fit either the style or the body type of the client, how do you kind of stay relevant with trends, but stay true to the client that you're working with?
there's a lot of times where I don't want people to follow trends. I want them to feel confident.
Yeah.
So I want them to look presentable and feel their best. So I don't really, there's a lot of trends out there right now that a lot of people should not or wear. I mean, there's a lot out there right now, and I just move along from it. You don't need to even pull that from anything, and just pull what like you feel confident in. Yeah. If it's a print, then you find what's the best silhouette in that print for you. It doesn't have to be these micro shorts that,
Oh yeah. I forgot about the mic. Those had a moment last year for sure.
I have a client that could rock them. Okay. But I still try to balance it. I'm like, well, you need a taller boot and maybe an oversized shirt, so it's not so in your face. And I think that's dress how you feel confident.
Yeah. That's
why we're getting dressed.
Yeah.
And going out into the world. And that's why I'm getting hired, is because you want to feel good.
Yeah.
So I don't push anything, trends on anyone.
Okay. That's smart. Are there any two colors that are sort of like your classic go-to that you always put together for a client?
I love red and leopard right now. And I love red and pink together.
Yes.
I'm so into those colors right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wear a lot of color, or usually neutral like you are today? It just depends on the day.
It just depends. Okay. I mean, the other day I was all in hot pink and I didn't know who I was.
Do you take on different personas in your different outfits?
All the time. I'm like multiple personalities.
I love this.
Truly.
I'm just going to call you at the end of each day. Who were you today, Cherie?
My closet is so random. There is no rhyme or reason.
What was one of the last things that you purchased that you absolutely love?
This bag.
Oh, did you buy it from the store? Did you get it off of a...
No, I got it from, so I'd never say the name right, but it's Velcitaire.
Oh, I don't think I've even heard of it.
And I'm probably saying it wrong. Have you? So it's like obviously secondhand stuff. Some though is new with tags, but it's just like, kind of like a higher end Poshmark or something. Okay. But a lot of stuff. So you can put it in, like, people just are selling off their stuff. And I always look for like the stuff still with tags or like in mint condition. And like this was in mint condition, and the prices are insane. Okay. And you can will and deal with the seller.
Okay.
Yeah. I like a good deal. Don't get me wrong. You might
love
think
a girl after a good deal.
I'm bougie, but I also work in fashion, so I know what prices really are. So I also like a good deal.
And what's it called? Well, Velcitaire?
VELASTIRE. Something like that. I'll have to send it to you.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put it in the show notes too.
Yeah. I'm so sorry for butchering it, but
we'll spell it out for him. If you can't do it, we can't do it either.
It's my new addiction.
Okay. And then you talked a little bit about the charms on your purse when you came in. Is this a Cherie thing?
Yeah. I'm very influenced by the bag charm trend right now. Like,
I don't even think I knew this was a trend.
Oh my, it's a thing. And
does your daughter at least like that?
No. And do you know it's a thing at school right now?
I feel like your
that kids are decorating their backpacks. Okay. But now it's like I just like posted something from like Vogue Business this morning on Instagram, and it was like the trend bag charms. It's like trending. It's like a big thing right now. Okay. But yeah, kids are decorating their backpacks with charms too, but now it's women's bags, and now I'm addicted.
I have a niece. She just started kindergarten yesterday.
And she has bag charms.
Well, she doesn't, but I'm going to now. I'm going to send her some. I'm going to be the cool aunt. I'm going to send her some bag charms.
Yes.
And she does love fashion. She always has her like a million different bracelets on.
Oh, I love that.
And it seems to just kind of almost calm her a little bit that she has all of her jewelry on and things like that. And so I'll have to send her some bag
I'll send you.
charms.
Etsy has some great. I'll have to send you some. But also too, like I went to Michael's. And they have so many things to make bag charms.
That's smart.
And it's so creative. So you can even like put together like a little kit for her to make her own. I mean, you get the whole thing. And they're already half pre-made. And you just have to buy like the little ring and attach the thing.
You just kind of put it together.
And some really cute ones. I got like a little cowboy boot charm to put on my shoes because now there's shoe charms.
Shoe charms.
It's all the things.
Keep me relevant.
I just look like I walked out of Claire's every day, but
she did just get her ears pierced, I think, at Claire's. So this all checks out for Olive.
Yeah.
You're going to give me the Aunt of the Year award. So thank you.
For sure.
If somebody is trying to kind of find their personal style, is there a certain way that you would tell them where to start?
I always like to tell people to pull images of what inspires them. Like go on Pinterest or go on Instagram now is like basically Pinterest.
Yeah.
And just what do you gravitate towards? Like who do you always like admire, but you don't know why? Like you're like, oh, I love how they look.
Yeah.
And pull all that because usually I can visualize and see like what you're gravitating towards. This might be your vibe or, and just talking about like comfort in general. When they put something on, would you feel your best? And I try to combine all that and deliver to them what I think they're thinking in their head. Kind of like what you do.
I was going to say, this is kind of like what I do with story, but you do with fashion styling.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That makes so much sense. Because I'm much more, I feel things a part of a conversation where you see things in fashion.
Yes.
So that's really cool to kind of, but I do think, and I said this in one of my first episodes, I do think we can be our own biggest blind spots where we can't see that our thoughts are as original as they are until we have somebody else kind of pull it out of us. Yeah. And so you help people pull out their original styles.
Job security.
Yes. Yeah, it does give you like a unique spot in your lane.
Yeah.
And then if somebody wants to start becoming a stylist or they're listening and they're like, wait, I think I might be able to do this, where would you suggest for them to start?
I would say to reach out to a stylist that you admire. Mm-hmm. That's all you have to do is just reach out and really be eager for that opportunity and just ask them, do you offer an internship, shadowing? Just putting your foot in that door and in that room is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah. Because
like I said, it could maybe gear you towards something else in the industry that you might like better, or it just, opens. You just need to get in the door with a stylist that you admire, honestly.
Yeah. I
wish someone would have told me that. I didn't know. And, I probably would have had a faster journey. Mm-hmm. I'm still appreciative, but I just don't be afraid. Write them on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you have to do. I mean, my assistant, Logan, wrote me every which way. And I didn't know at that time. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm scared. Like, can I afford an assistant? What do I do? How does this work? Like, oh my gosh, I'm running my own business. Like, I don't know how this works, but I need help. And she just kept going. And I remember meeting with her and she had a notebook and a pen. And I was like, yes. Because
she's organized.
I was just taught when I showed up to work in LA, I was handed a notebook and a pen and they were like, you need to make sure you write down everything I'm saying. And just being mindful and present. And I just remember her being that way. And I was like, oh, like she wants this.
Yeah.
She wants this as a job, as a career.
Eager. She had the skill set. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, proximity. Yeah. Find the people that are doing what you want to do.
Still bring that paper and a pen, please.
Bring that notebook. Bring your notebooks.
I still don't like phone notes. I still like paper.
I'm with you on that. And the last question that I like to ask my guests this season, Cherie, is you mentioned your mom and a little bit of your grandmother and great-grandmother, a bit of kind of instilling a little bit of this unique sense, really around fashion, but kind of just this unique sense of being yourself as well. But was there a saying or anything growing up that they said to you a lot that, let's say you were to leave on a napkin for somebody else, for a stranger to pick up and read? What is that saying that they really kind of left you with?
It's so basic, but be yourself.
Yes.
I was never told anything to be, just be yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Because I think I think it's a journey to get there. And I think you can, like we talked about, find different outlets and mediums for that. But I do think finding your original lane is, I don't know, I think that's one of the most fulfilling journeys in life.
Try to follow. We get, especially in fashion, you get wrapped up in following the trends.
Yeah.
And I might follow trends, but I also like to keep a little bit of myself in there too, and just do what I like and stay confident. Like, no, I like this.
Yeah.
You might not like this, because even the people setting the trends, I don't know if I fully agree with them.
Maybe
all the time.
they don't even like it either.
So, yeah.
Okay, be yourself. Cherie, thank you so much for being on
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Where can everybody find you and follow you on socials?
Cherie Kilchrist Style is my Instagram. I'm still working on my TikTok. I don't even know what my name is. There's a lot of people on me for that, but I'm getting there.
We're getting there. Yes.
It's somewhere on there, just my full name, I guess.
And be on the lookout in 5 years for her own line at some point.
Oh, I have so many ideas. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Maybe you'll help me hone them in.
Yes. Glass of wine.
Yep.
A notebook.
Yeah.
And then we're going to bring some of these dreams to fruition.
Yep.
You know what? Cheers, Cherie. Thank you so much for being on.